We are building a thriving community, a community of thrivers, a community of people that are flourishing. And I will tell you, I know that when I talk about this, and maybe you're going through your own season of being messy, your own season of being down, your season of being doubtful. I know that when I talk about a community of thrivers, then you are actually taking yourself out or counting yourself out, but I'm counting you back in and telling you that you are the blessing that you need to get to wherever you want to be able to get. There is something that you can never separate you from, and that is you. Okay, so that means if you can't separate you from you, that means that acknowledging that you are the blessing, and every day, every single day that you wake up, that you can still do something about your situation, and that God is not yet done with you, that should give you hope to fight one more day, another month, another year, just to give it your best and say, you know what, I'm not taking my last breath, I'm giving this my best, and see exactly what happens. So welcome to the community of thrivers, and welcome to the community of people that have made a commitment to grow, a commitment to transform their lives, and not only their lives but also the lives of the so many people that are out there, that after you get strong you will strengthen others. And I know there are so many of you that are already strong. Maybe you are not the strongest person on earth, but you are somehow strong and you are already strengthening others, and that is a beautiful thing. Today, what I have for us is really an encouragement, okay? And an encouragement that came to me. I think this was really my word that I really felt like sharing with you, how I understood it and how I want all of us to understand. Because the moment we have the foundation, and the foundation is us, the foundation is our health, the foundation is our well-being, everything else is being built up on that, all right? And one thing that I really had so vividly in this morning while I was doing my my Bible reading and then my worship, and you know, there is something that God put on the inside of me and told me that, you know what, you are the blessing, not where you work or where you have gone, or whatever it is that we count as the blessings. We usually count other things as the blessings, or the field that we operate in, or the industry that we operate in. Whatever it is, we usually point to another field, to another person, to another place as the blessing, and we never think that we are actually the blessing. And this took me to the scripture that talks about, I was actually just reading the different versions of that you are blessed when you go in and you are blessed when you come out. You are blessed in the village or in the countryside. You are blessed in the city. And let me tell you, I have seen God's goodness in this land of the living. I have seen God's goodness, but that has not come only with just the blessings. It has come with so many things that I have gone through, and that is where I felt like sharing this with us, that so many of us have gone through so many things in the past, and those so many things have created a lot of bitterness inside of you. But one thing that God was telling me, and he has been teaching me over and over and over, the more I have shared my story, the more I have told people about my story. Sometimes I surprise myself with my stories, because every environment that I go to, I actually get to share something totally different, and it just comes in the moment. It's not like I pre-prepared. I have never pre-prepared to share any of my stories. They come in the heat of the moment when I am speaking, and they are so powerful that they change people's mindsets. They transform people's perspective and how they see the world. But ask me, the time that I was going through those things, was I looking at it as a blessing? No, I did not look at it as a blessing. I looked at it as a curse. I looked at it like life was about to end. I looked at it like I would never amount to anything. I looked at it and I thought maybe I would never have those good days where I feel like, you know what, God is in control and I am trusting in his will and everything is going to be okay. That was not the case. When I was building, because we are all building something, we are all building our dreams, we are all building, you know, our visions, we are all building the life, the legacy, the life that we want. We are all aiming at something, and some of us are we are not so clear about what we are aiming at. But God was vividly telling me that what I went through was actually, it was an education. It was an education. Just imagine how funny that can be. It was an education. It was a resource. It was a resource. And when I had this tale, I usually look for the Bible references, you know, that bring these things to life so that I can be able to understand them better. And I went to the Bible reference, or I went to the story of Noah and building of the ark. Remember, Noah was a farmer. Like, he was totally a farmer. Okay, and in this season where God was actually talking about, this was in Genesis chapter 6, and chapter 6, let's just randomly read from 5, that the Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of human heart was only evil of all times. The Lord regretted that he had made human beings on earth, and his heart was deeply troubled. I don't know if some of you have ever actually read these things to know, because we usually read the first part where God looked at his creation and he was wowed, and you know, he rested on the seventh day, and you know, he looked at everything. I was like, it was amazing to look at. Everything was good. When he created man, that was the epitome of his creation. And so we end at that part of looking at his creation and wowing and saying, wow, this is marvelous. Little do we know, or some of us have not even read the verses and the chapters where God regretted creating mankind. And I usually actually use this so much when I tell people that you can revamp, you can transform, you can change your life. And I usually refer this to the frustration and tell you that the frustration that you feel right now is actually your friend. If you recognize frustration as your friend, and frustration as not something to cast away, to bind, to pray, you know, against, and to run away from, because when you run away from frustration, what you're telling me is you want comfort. You don't want to feel any discomfort, because it is in the moments of discomfort and in the moments of frustration that we actually grow. The moment we are agitated, the moment we are frustrated, that means we feel like, you know, there's something amiss, there's something I'm not doing, there's something I ought to do. And that is what frustration should be. I should be able to tell you. But you realize that when God got frustrated, the first thing he said, I regret creating mankind. All the thoughts were evil, all the actions were evil, and he regretted it. And when he regretted it, frustration took him to destroying the world to recreate the world. Just imagine. And I usually say that if God could get frustrated about mankind, about his creation, about his workmanship, about his craftsmanship, about his, you know, the work of his hands, one that he said, wow, this is beautiful, and he gets frustrated. And when he gets frustrated, he just doesn't say, you know what, let me just turn my eyes the other side, let me just pretend all this is not happening, all I want is, you know what, let me just stay in bliss and not just think about whatever is happening on earth. He was like, no, I must be able to do something about it. This is frustrating me. Frustration is my friend. I can be able to recreate this world. I have power over this world. I am the one who created it with my voice. I called day and night, and I called the fishes of the earth, and I called the waters of the earth, and I created literally everything. And the human being is the epitome of my creation. But if I'm this frustrated about a human being and what he is doing, I can as well kill, I can destroy the whole earth and be able to recreate again. So you see that you can't say that you don't have the power. You have the power. And the reason as to why you have the power is the same reason, the frustration that you are feeling right now. If you don't have enough money, that should frustrate you to the point of wanting to make more money, of wanting to either change your job, of wanting to offer more services, of wanting to get another skill. If you have less money, you should be able to ask yourself, what am I not doing? What must I do in order to get the money? Can I be able to Totally, people have relocated and they're like, you know what, I was born in Uganda, but I'm going to relocate and go to another country and start afresh. There's no one that has relocated and, you know, they were just feeling that, you know what, oh, I'm just tired of Uganda, let me just go to another place, maybe things will be better. Most of the people that relocate are relocating out of frustration. Most of the people that sometimes are marrying out of frustration. You know, the years are going, and you know, they feel they are not hitting their milestones, you know, they feel there's something missing, and so they go ahead and do something. So I need you to embrace frustration. I need you to sit down and ask yourself, what am I frustrated about? What am I frustrated about? Because the blessing is on you. The blessing is not on any place. Okay, when you say that, oh, you can never know, I was in Uganda and, you know, I was blessed, so you never know, maybe if I go to another place, maybe I will not be blessed. No, the blessing is on you as a human being. Just like God was telling me today, it is not on a place, it is not on a country, it is not on a job. So if the blessing is on you, that means that God can open any kind of doors. And the Bible talks about the bronze gates, breaking down the bronze gates. He talks about, you know, making plain the what are they called? The valleys. Okay, but he will fill up the valleys. He is the God that fills up the valleys. He is the God that melts the mountains. You know, just imagine, he does all this to show that there was something in front of you, but something that was not permitting you to move. And so I am going to break through the bronze gates. I am going to break through the valleys. I am going to make them flat so you can move. I am going to melt the mountains so that they will not stand ahead of you. And there's somewhere in the Bible that I like so much. I actually like it more in Luganda, when the Bible talks about the mountains that skipped and the hills that skipped backwards, you know. And I think it must have been Moses when he says, you know, what did you see? Why did you jump backwards? You know, the hills were standing in front, the mountains were standing in front, there were hurdles, but he asked that, what did you see? It's possible that the mountains saw. It's possible that God melted those mountains, that they skipped going backwards. They moved out of the way so that they can be able to move to where he was supposed to go. So now, if you are the kind that is standing still, and not standing still to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living, or not standing still to let God fight for you, but standing still and giving up on life, that is not what God expects of you. No, that is not what God expects of you. He expects that you have learned a great deal, just like we have said here. So he is frustrated. In verse 8 he says, that is Genesis 6:8, but he says, but Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. And when he found favor in the eyes of the Lord, this is what happened. He went ahead to actually give him commandments and orders of what to do. Remember, Noah is a farmer. And now God is telling him that there's going to be a flood. I am tired. I am destroying the earth. But the mighty waters are going to come. So go and build a boat, because you and your family and the animals must be able to be saved to continue in the next generation. So it goes ahead in 9. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people in his time. He walked faithfully with God. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Yes, now the earth was corrupt in God's sight. Okay, and then let's just go to 13. So God said to Noah, I'm going to put an end to all people, for the earth is filled with violence. Because of them, I'm surely going to destroy both them and the earth. So make yourself an ark of cypress wood, make rooms in it, coat it with the pitch inside and out. This is how you are to build it. The ark is to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. Make the roof for it, leaving low the roof of an opening in the cubit, high all around. Put a door in the inside. Now, I am just reading this to show you that it was command after command. It was an order after an order. But remember, he's speaking to a farmer. A farmer who would have said that, you know what, God, I've been a farmer all my life. Like all my life, I have been a farmer. So now you are telling me to build a boat. I don't know how to handle a hammer. I don't know how to calculate the cubics that you're telling me. I don't know how to do all these things. I have not done them in my life. But when God calls you to a new season of your life, and this he told me this morning, when God calls you to a new season of your life, he's not looking for the super talent and an all-knowing person. All he's looking for is a sense of obedience in what he wants you to do. Because everything up until now, you know, if it was another person, let me just give a random example. Maybe it is you are an architect, and all of a sudden you've been doing this for all your life, and all of a sudden you're being called into training, or you're being called into something that is totally different from what you were used to. Or you've been a lawyer all your life, okay, and all of a sudden you have to get into broadcasting, or you have to get into photography, into videography, or you have to get into content creation. Just imagine, okay, just imagine. And you say, you know what, all the books that I have read, I have gone through primary, through secondary, through campus, I have done everything for the past 20 years, I have practiced this single thing, and now all of a sudden just to tweak me and take me to content creation? And some of us have felt those pivots in our lives, the things that change, you know, things that are calling you to change, okay? And not because, oh, there is not enough money, but maybe because God wants to position you in a place where you'll be able to help a lot more people, where you'll be able to earn a lot more money, where you'll be a lot more blessing to other people. And all he wants is, like when he asked, who will go for us? When everyone is seated, you know, the angels, Jesus in heaven, and he's like, who will go for us? And Jesus is like, I will go for us. All he wants is the obedience. He's not going to give you a full sketch map of what you are going to do. But even when you say all the degrees, all the time that I spent, you know, putting in this work, and now all of a sudden, this change, this shift in change. But the thing is, not every experience that you have gone through as a human being is actually wasted. I think I've talked about that. If you need to watch that video, it's actually up on YouTube. And I hope that you can make it a daily habit to consume. Not to just consume, but to apply even after consuming. Okay? And all the experiences are not wasted. They are relevant. Very relevant. Let me give you an example of Noah. If Noah was a farmer, chances are he had gone through patience, and he had immersed the virtue of patience. Why? Because as a farmer, when you sow, you do not reap in the same season. No. You sow, you plow the ground, you till the ground, you plant, you water, you mulch, you do everything possible to create a conducive environment for that plant to grow. And then you keep checking on it. You don't just leave it, because when the time for weeding comes, you have to come and weed. When the time to harvest comes, you have to come and harvest. When there is pests, you have to do pest control. So that means that there's a virtue of patience that he had learned. And guess what? This virtue was also needed in building of the ark. Just imagine you are starting. When you are starting, God is telling you there's going to be a flood. I am going to, you know, to destroy the earth. Number one, he had to have faith. Farmers have faith that when they plant, things will grow. They don't just plant and, you know, just give up. They have faith. So now he had to have faith that whatever God has said, he's actually going to do. So if he has promised a flood and he has given me directions to create the ark, let me go and create the ark. Okay? So now he starts creating the ark. But when you're starting to create something, it looks so vague. Just imagine him getting into the forest, getting the wood together, getting the wood. Some of it had to be cut down, some of it had to dry, some of it, I bet whoever used to look at Noah, and I don't want to look to look for that exactly, but there are people that were looking at him as a mad person. Just imagine, you've been a farmer, everyone knows, you know, in season and out of season, you are the richest person on earth because you've been working so diligently, and all of a sudden they see a mad person that has started, you know, cutting trees and gathering timber and letting it dry and doing measurements. Like, he looked like a mad person. Now some of us in this season, we are going to look like mad people, because whatever we are starting going to build is not going to look exactly like the finished good. The finished ark there was beautiful because it had perfect measurements, because it was masterfully done, because it was done building. But when you are laying the foundation, when you're building a boat, I don't know about you, but when I was young, I mean, I have grown up in Sunday school. I have read Bibles and the children's Bibles. You know, I would see those arcs. I don't know, some of you, if you have read children's Bible and picture Bibles, you will tell that the ark had those, I don't know what they're called, but they're usually holding them, just like the boats, you know, at the sea, in the lakes, you know. They always, not just the anchor, it was not just the anchor, but just something to hold it in place before it gets into the water. Because with the anchor, it really holds it, but it can even flat in the water. But there are those sticks that they put, or logs that they put around it. Okay, so now he's laying the foundation, he's trying to do the measurements, and everyone that is looking at him is looking at a mad person. He's like, Noah, you're better off going back to, you know, to farming. What will you eat the next season? What, as in, people are asking why, because they are used to that version of you. Now, I don't want you to get a temptation of returning or going back to the last version of yourself. Why? Because you think this is uncertain. I know there is uncertainty, but number one, believe in God's word. If you have had it, if God has dropped it inside of you, if you have dreamt about it, if you have heard God speak, if you have had a word of knowledge about it, and some of it is just an inkling, it's a feeling that God puts inside of us. Just like some people that are done with employment, you get to a place and you are so restless that you cannot settle in the same place. There are people that have told me that, you know what, I began at this workplace, I thought that I was going to spend the rest of my life because this was it, this was my dream job, and all of a sudden 3 years down the road, they're feeling a sense of dissatisfaction, they're feeling like they don't fit in, they even feel so bad when they're reporting to work, and they're like, what has shifted? Sometimes God makes us tired of certain places, gives us a holy frustration in certain places to show us that the time for us to dwell in that place is far gone. That place might be comfortable. That place is possible that you have friends in there. That place is possible now you know where you get your lunch from. That place is possible that you even have friends that you can ask for loans from. As in, it's like family. But God is saying that, Nelson, look here. You are created for more than what you are dwelling in right now. Can you stretch your faith? Can you stretch your faith? Trust me, if I say that there is something more, it's possible that it's unfamiliar, it's possible that it's uncertain, it's possible that you don't have a full roadmap, it's possible that you don't even know where to place your next foot. But can you be obedient? Can you be obedient? At least do something about it. Whenever I have felt an unsettling inside of me, this is what I have done. I have told God, I have quit fighting. Like, seriously, I stopped fighting with God. And I stopped fighting with my feelings. Because God communicates a lot with my feelings, with my hunches, with my intuition. So I was like, you know what? God, I stopped fighting with you long time ago. So now, I have felt this kind of dissatisfaction, and I felt it in so many ways. I felt it at contracts. I will not even call them jobs, because I mean, I have never been in a place where I have to go to ask for a job, but I've been invited for some contracts. I've signed some independent contracts, and when the time comes for me to actually leave that independent, one of the last contracts that I had signed, when the time came for me to actually leave, this is what happened. I felt a very huge frustration, and the place was good, and people were good to me, very good to me, like extremely good to me, like I was like a special case, handled so well, as in everyone was just, everything was good, but inside of me I knew it was time. So guess what? I told God, I'm not fighting. I'm not fighting. If you say it's the time, it's the time. So this is what I'm going to do. I actually created like not a fracas in a way of a bad fracas, but I just went and said that, you know what, I think this is it for me. Time is done, and I think I need to step away from this role. And so, you know, when you say step away, some people are thinking maybe it's because of the money. So now they took that direction. They're like, maybe we are not giving you enough money. If we double this amount, will you continue to work? So I was like, no, you can double that amount, but still I will not give you 100% of this role. I'm cutting it to 50%. So you see a person, and there is a level of boldness God gives you when the time is done. Like, you have nothing to lose. Whether you lose all the money, whether you lose the contract, like, you have nothing to lose. And yet, it's not that there is something that is prepared there that you're actually going to do it. So they took the lane of the money, and they're like, what if we double the money? I was like, even if you double the money, I'm going to give you 50% of the role that I've been giving you because I am busy. Guess what? I wasn't busy. So now they go ahead and double the amount. And then even when they double the amount, I was like, this is, you know how you're creating like a comfort for yourself. And God is saying, I don't want you, I'm not saying that lay the bed and make it comfortable and sleep and sleep around. No, he's saying move. And for you, you are busy creating a comfortable, space. Like, I stepped out like this, and whenever you step out of areas that God wants you out of, this is another signal. You will feel peace of mind. You will be like, you will finally breathe. Okay? It's not like they've been mistreating you. It's not, but you will finally breathe. And this goes to, by the way, some people, you even have that inkling, even when it comes to your relationships. Okay? I'm not saying marriage. With marriage, you must get the help that you need. But when it comes to relationships, there are certain things where God is telling you, no, you are signing out of this. And some of them, by the way, sometimes it will be that this person has not done something bad. There is nothing tangible that you can actually point out to, but you just feel restless. You just feel like the distance is growing. You just don't feel that person. And God is telling you, I am keeping you frustrated because I want you to get out of there. Because maybe the calling on your life is too big that this person is not going to be able to support it. But right now, you cannot see it because there is nothing wrong that they have done. Okay, so I want you to be able to look critically, to have your spiritual eyes open, okay, so that you can actually know these things. So now you see how Noah is beginning to look mad. He's building, it does not look the way it's supposed to look. Now he has to apply the virtue of patience. He applied the virtue of faith, and now he's applying the virtue of patience, and he has to apply the virtue of resilience. When you're building, you don't just build and everything is going on. Okay, we have had so many ventures in real estate development together with my husband. But so many times we go and you go to you've laid out the foundation so well, and the construction has kicked off, and so after some time you have to change something. You're like, no, this bedroom cannot be here. These wardrobes cannot be here. Now we must break this wall. We must be able to do this. So construction it's not a linear thing. It is something where it is zigzag. That's something you will construct something knowing well that you really want it in that place, and then all of a sudden you think about it and you're like, come to think about it, we actually don't need it. We put a door here, but I don't think we will need this door here. Now let's build and break it up, and then we can break another door somewhere. So you realize now he's constructing the ark. People are calling him mad. I bet even his wife was saying this is mad. His children were saying, this man is actually going berserk. Let me tell you, when God gives you a command, when God sends you to do something, you're the only person that will understand the magnitude of that calling. Sometimes not even the person that you sleep with, not even your daughters, your sons, not even your parents. Some of them will never understand what is going on, because it will unsettle them, it will shake them to the core. But for you that knows that if God said his word is yes and amen, and he has told me to take a step in this direction, and I'm going to treat God's word like the last truth on this world, and that is what faith is. Yes, it's the evidence of things that have not yet been done, or the things that are not yet manifesting as well at the moment. But again, for me, I really find faith as taking God's word as the truth that it is. Okay, I'm not substituting it. I'm not seeking to understand it, putting it in my own understanding, interpreting it. No, if he says that he is with me, if he says that even when I go through the mighty waters, I will never be overwhelmed, if he says that even when I go through the fires, I will not be consumed, if it's, as in, I am taking that as the gospel truth, for me, that is faith to me. So I need you to personalize faith, that whatever God has said is actually the truth. You have a blessing. You will be blessed when you come in. You will be blessed when you go out. That means as you come in, you are blessed. As you go out, you are blessed. It's not the place that is blessed. It's not the job that is blessed. It's not the contract that is blessed. It's not the person that is blessed. Because some of us think we are clinging to certain people, thinking these are the people that are holding our blessings. Okay? There are people that are blessings to our lives. There are people that are really a blessing to our lives. And God permits such people to come as destiny helpers, to come as people that hold the vision together with you. The people that travail and groan and push up the vision together with you. All right? But you should know that, I think it was a story about Obama and Michelle. When I think someone told Michelle that, it was Obama, when they went to visit her ex-boyfriend's restaurant, and you know, it was like a restaurant somewhere, and so they sat, and Obama was like, I mean, if you didn't get married to me, you would have been married to the restaurant owner, or this would have been your life. And she said, no, you actually got that wrong. If we didn't get married, you would never be the president. It might take longer than others. Maybe others might manifest the greatness before others. But let me tell you, even if it takes 10 years, you cannot rub shoulders with me and remain the same. Because I believe I am a blessing. I am a blessing. I carry the blessing wherever I go. I do not find blessings wherever I go. I carry the blessings to where I go. The day you will learn that, the day you will affirm that in your life, let me tell you, it's going to be totally different. You will never say, oh, this industry is saturated. No, you will come to a saturated industry and turn it upside down. Okay? You will, as in, oh, but everyone is doing this these days. No. Because the blessing is on you, you will get into the same village where others have failed and yours will work. You will get into the marriage where others have failed and yours will work. Because you carry the blessing. You are the blessing. You are not looking for any blessing. Guys, you are not looking for any blessing. You are looking for you. You are looking for you. Now, look back at yourself. With all the power that God has bestowed inside of you, with all the giftings God has bestowed inside of you, the wisdom, the wisdom that God has put inside of us, we are just choosing not to think. We are just choosing not to do. We are just choosing. The day you will get out of your comfort zone, the day you will decide to pursue life, the day you will decide to chase your dreams, the day you will decide to chase purpose, the day you will decide that I am sick and tired of being sick and tired and enough is enough, is the day you're going to see doors open before you. Is the day you're going to see mountains melt. Is the day you're going to see valleys being filled up. Is the day you will see the bronze gates open in front of you. Is the day you will look around and know that you serve a mighty God. Okay? So, I need you to be able to understand, and I need this to enter, to get inside of you. You are the only one limiting yourself because you are identifying yourself with the former person. Just imagine if I was still identifying when they tell me, oh, now there's this opportunity, and then I'm like, but oh, I grew up in a very poor family. Oh, but my life has never been interesting. Oh, but you see how I would miss out on so many things? Putting myself out there, starting to build a brand, starting to impact lives, that was all in response to faith. And to know that if God says that I am blessed, indeed I am blessed. So I am going to put this blessing out there, and people are going to be partakers of this blessing, and I'm not going to die with this blessing alone. But that takes bravery, that takes boldness, that takes risk taking. It's a leap of faith. saying that, you know what, whether I'm accepted or not accepted, I'm still going to put myself out there. Whether I get customers or not, I'm still going to start that business. Whatever it is, if I am the blessing, if they say this arcade does not work, you know, whoever comes into this arcade, their business dies. Yeah? You remember the sour water, the bitter water in the Bible, and how the prophets treated it, you know, by getting a pot and putting water in it and putting some salt and pouring that water into the bitter water, and the bitterness of the water disappeared. The water on the whole village and in the whole country became healed. We are healers. You are a healer. Your blessing, you carry a blessing of a healer wherever you go. That, yes, oh, but this family, oh, but this business, you walk into that business. For as long as you are obedient, okay, to God's word. And when he says that, you know what, start, do something. You don't give him reasons, but God, you know, I'm short. But God, you know, my education, you know, it did not really add up that much. You know, but God, you know, I don't know how to speak. You remember, who was that, Moses, when he told God how he stutters, okay? And, amen. Did God change and say, oh, if you're a stammerer, let me just get another person to come and do the job? No, he didn't. He still sent Moses to go and deliver the children of Israel. Now you are being sent to deliver your family, to deliver your country, to deliver your continent, to deliver the so many people that are out there dying, to give hope to the hopeless, and you're still saying your education does not add up, and you're still saying I don't know English. Who told you should speak English? And you're still saying, but I don't have a good body. Who is looking for a good body? But you know, I don't have this color of the skin. Who is looking for the color of a skin? If healing is going to come through you, you might as well open your mouth. I've been saying this of recent. God has been changing certain things in my life and sending me to certain things or to certain dimensions that I never thought. And all of a sudden I was like, but God, you are joking. You are really joking. But I promised I would never fight with you. So this is what I'm going to do. One of those days when I woke up in the morning to pray, I told God, I am going to open my mouth. I am going to open my mouth. Those are like jokingly. I just say, God, I'm going to open my mouth, and so you can speak whatever you want to speak. If that is what you're sending me there to speak this, then I'm going to open my mouth. Whatever comes is whatever comes. But now it's like I've told God, I'm being obedient. I will go. I will open my mouth. If words come, I will speak them. If that is what you want me to do, I'm not going to quarrel with you. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to say, but don't take me, but that is too much exposure. But no, I love my peace. You know, I love my small life. You know, that is the kind of bargain I was doing with God. I love my small life. I love, you know, how intimate my life has been. You know, I don't want to be out there. I don't want the exposure. I don't want. And he was like, you know what? You are not sending yourself. I'm the one sending you. And guess what? I want to deliver those people. They could be big-headed. They could be thinking that they have arrived. They could be whatever it is, but they are dying. They are, as in a lot is happening in that sphere of the top leaders, what you would call the top leaders, the governmental leaders. And I'm like, God, you know how you are being taken like a goat? You know how a goat can get to the rock and stand and be stiff? It can't move. That is how I was. I am not getting into that. I am not, you know, send another person. I love being on TV. I love being on YouTube. I love being on social media. That is my area of expertise. I don't want too much exposure. And God was saying, you are joking. You're going to advise presidents, you're going to advise ambassadors, you are penetrating into their circles, and you're not going to take you there. I am going to take you there. And before anything, I'm receiving invitations to different spheres, to different places. And I'm like, but God, okay, I said I will not argue with you. I will open my mouth, whatever will come, you know, I will speak. And then I was like, but I'm not the wisest of people. It's like, yeah, you're not the wisest of people. That I don't use the wisest of people. I use available vessels, and you are a vessel in my arms, and you are a blessing, and you're going to carry that blessing to so many people and so many ends of the world. So don't limit yourself by identifying and limiting yourself to who you used to be. Release, okay? Release. because the more you fight is the more you're going to be bound. Release. If God is telling you to open that business, if God is telling you to get that skill, if God is telling you to go back to school, if God is telling you to get into that marriage, if God is telling you to whatever it is, the next step of your life, I know that it comes with a lot of fear. Sometimes you want to get into marriage, and you're a man, you're thinking, my goodness, I must leave money every day. People must eat. They will be looking at me if I fail them, you know. But the thing is, the moment you step into it, okay, and you know you're hardworking, it's not that you've refused to work. The moment you step into it, God will show you what the next step is supposed to be, and He will never let you go hungry. He will never let you. And even if you go through whatever situations, those situations will not be wasted. They will be relevant. They will be used somewhere, somehow. Okay? So, how do you know that you are, or how do you affirm and confirm that you are the blessing? That you are the blessing. Look at your past life. Okay? You didn't get yourself here. You didn't. Okay? For some people, it's possible that they have tried to work hard. But still, there are people in this world who have worked hard and things have not worked out. Okay? So that means there's a blessing to what you are doing. And things are going to they're going to keep getting better and getting better and getting better. Sometimes we have a tendency of looking back at our former wins and our former conquests and think, oh, maybe that was the last victory. Maybe that was the last. You know how some of us are so doubtful about the future? So we look back and we're like, oh, that was a good season. Oh, that trophy that I won, I don't think I will win any other trophy. Oh, that situation that I overcame, I think it was the last one. Oh, that healing that I got, I think that was the last miracle that God did. No, it wasn't the last miracle. There are so many miracles, miracle after miracle after miracle, that God is going to do for you. That is God is going to do. But the moment you accept that you are the blessing, it is not the area, it is not other people, you are the blessing. The moment you quit identifying yourself with the past, okay, release the past and embrace the new that God is creating, and embrace the new name that God is giving you, everything is actually going to work out. Everything, and I mean everything, is going to work out. All the situations that I've been through, all the stories that I have shared, I believe they have taught me so many things, so many things, so many things. As a person, I have endured so much turmoil. I have been to places where I have given up. I've been to places where I have doubted. I have been to places, and sometimes you might think, oh, that is in the far past. Or let me tell you, even in the journey of helping so many people, even to you, a leader that is there, to you, a pastor, a minister, to you, a president, an ambassador, as in, people think that you have arrived, but you have wounds inside of you. You have a sense of doubt. You are an executive. You are a CEO. You are founder of a billionaire, a trillion-dollar company, or whatever it is. As in, all those things people can see from outside and say, wow. But inside of you, you're like, okay, I've been able to run this business up to this year. But I think that things are getting harder. Am I sure that next year it's going to be around? I know some of you have had those doubts as to whether your business is going to keep on, as to whether you're going to be able to pay the salaries, the next year's salaries, as to whether you're going to be able to pay up that loan and finish it, as to be able, as in, you have doubted yourself, you have given up, and you stood up again, you have fallen 1,000 times, but you have stood up 1,000 times, as in, you are fighting, and no one knows that you are fighting those battles. You are the blessing. You are the blessing. Do not give up on yourself. Every situation you have gone through is a resource. It is an education. Guess who is the source is? God. He is the source. So He is the giver of resources. He is the giver of the education. So whatever you have learned, people skills, you know, some of us have been through seasons where we've learned people skills. Some of us have been through seasons where we have learned to control our tongues. Some of us have been through seasons where we have learned to create relationships and respect relationships. Some of us, because of the hard scenarios that we went through, okay, the knockdowns and knockouts that we have had in place. Some of us have learned financial management, personal financial management, investment. Why? Because at some point you were literally losing it, okay? And you had lost everything in your life. And now you're bouncing back and you're like, this time I will do better. Some of us have learned the art of managing our health. But you know what? When you go to Mulago and you see old people being, you know, taken out, they cannot walk, they cannot, and then you learn that, you know what? This life is not just about eating. This life is not just about laughing and merrymaking. This life, we must take care of our health. We must be able to exercise. We must be able to lift weights. We must be able to eat healthy. We must be able to sleep well. We must be able to learn how to manage our stress. Where do you learn all those things? From everything that you have gone through. That when the best seasons of your life come, you will even help. Do you know how you will be able to help other people that are upcoming? Is after you have gone through the levels. Just imagine if someone walked into the company and all of a sudden they become the CEO. They have not gone through the ranks. Just imagine they will be backing orders. They will be ill-mannered. They will be, why? Because they don't know what it means to go. But the moment you go from the lowest, the moment you start from being a janitor and then you go into the front desk manager and then you go into whatever the levels, let me tell you, you will be the founder of a company or you'll be the CEO of the company. And you will kubonga with a front desk manager, and you will call them to find out how their families are. You will even ask how they are faring at their job. You will seek to understand why, because you have been there before and you know what it means to actually be there. So some of us, God has taken us through the longer road. Okay, we have faced the detours of life, but not in vain. Not in vain. All your circumstances and situations are not wasted. They are very relevant. That as you get into the next chapter of your life, as you get into the next level of your life, you show up ready. You show up. You show up with etiquette. You show up with empathy. You show up to serve. You don't show up to be worshipped. No, you show up to serve. You show up to love. You show up to support, to give a hand. Why? Because you have been taught by all these things that you have gone through, okay? And let me tell you, the reason as to why whatever things are coming at you right now, they are coming at you, is because it's an indicator that your life means a lot. It's a blessing. And the devil is fighting with something. So I need you to take that patience, all the lessons that you have learned, okay? And the faith that you have gotten, I need you to be able to move into your next chapter with all that. Do not leave it behind. You are blessed when you go in. You are blessed when you come out. You are blessed in the countryside. You are blessed in the city. You are blessed at your job, and you will be blessed even as a business owner and an entrepreneur. You are blessed in Uganda, and you'll be blessed on the global platform and the global, you know, and globally. You are a blessing. Internalize that. Take it in, okay? Take it in. And when we think about the situations that we've been in, we've gone through, that takes me to that verse in the Bible that says that you get out of the muddy waters, you know, the muddy clay, and you place our feet on a firm ground. What God wants to do in the next season of your life is to place you on a firm ground, a ground where you are not shaken, a ground where your blessing is not determined by anyone, where your future is not determined by anyone. How high you go is not determined by anyone. How far you go is not determined by anyone. Okay, so he takes us out of the messy places. Just imagine, out of the pit that is messy, that is filled with mud, and God says that I will bring you out. That means that God comes from his being God, and he comes into a messy situations. He takes his hand into the messy situation, into the mud, and he brings you out. Okay, he carries your weight. He carries, like, what kind of God is that? He carries you out, and he places you on a firm ground that never again will the soft sandy waters take you, will the soft clay take you, that never again will you be in a place where you're at the mercies of someone else, where you're at the mercies of situations. No, he takes you and puts you on a firm ground. He establishes you. He establishes you. And the Bible says that we will speak words and the words will be established. So what are you speaking about your life? Okay, if he goes got you out and placed you on a firm ground. What he wants you is that you will develop the confidence, the bravery, the boldness, and not only to just serve you, but to serve even the people around you. After you are on the rock, you know, remember Peter, that when you are strong, you strengthen, you know, you strengthen others. That when you are on the rock, when you are established, then you can be able to give a hand. Then you can be able to pull people out of their pits, out of their mess, out of whatever it is that they have gone through. And that is how you become a blessing. Okay? You become a blessing. So whatever situations you've gone through, those were not wasted. Those were not wasted. I need you to know that you're the blessing. I need you to know that you carry the blessing. I need you to know that whenever you enter, whatever industry that you enter, walk like the blessing that you are. And let me tell you, this goes back to self-belief. If you believe it, okay, it is going to be manifested in how you show up. How you show up is going to be different. You're going to exude confidence. Has someone ever walked into a room and it was a head turner, like everyone turned to see who was coming? They've not said a word, but their strides, the way they walk. Can you walk like the child of God? Can you walk like the called? Can you walk like the equipped, the called, the one that was redeemed, the one who's, on whom God has the best plans, the one that God knew before your parts were woven together in the sacred places? Okay? Can you move with confidence? Can you move with your head held high? I know that I carry the blessing wherever I go, even if it's a workplace, I get there, things work. Even if it's whatever it is, I get into a project, that one has to work. And it's not by my might, it's not by power, but by the Spirit of God. The moment you even know who to give the glory. I mean, so many times when people are clapping for me, when people have invited me to speak and they're like, oh my God, that was life-changing, in my heart of hearts, I'm like, you know what, I'm only a vessel, but a vessel that is blessed. When you know that, by the way, you go to a place and you carry you are the blessing, you know, even what you speak changes. That is why I'm so passionate about training speakers, training coaches, and that is something that I do with a passion. Training, people how to build personal brands, because personal brands have to have that element of knowing that, yes, I'm a blessing, that, yes, when I show up, yes, I have the solution, yes, I have the answer, yes, I am called to this is my vision. The moment you show up as a personal brand, that is why the knowledge of God to a personal brand is an added advantage. The knowledge of God to a life coach is an added advantage. The knowledge of God to a speaker is an added advantage. Okay? Because people are not there to listen to you. They are there to listen to the mysteries. They are there to listen to God for their next level, what their next step should be. Now, in human sense, you don't have that. God has to give you that. There are 1,000 people in the room, and guess what? God can give you a message that will be able to minister individually to the 1,000 people, and everyone will get something that will push them, and everyone will have testimonies about that very day and say, you know what, the day you came to our church, the day you came to our organization, that changed the trajectory of my life. And 1,000 people are saying that, not because you talked to them individually, not because you knew their situations, but God knew their situation, placed a word on your heart that would meet them at their points of need. And that is why knowing God is an added advantage. That is why even in the mentorship, I make sure that we have a segment of spiritual psychology and spiritual intelligence, so that we can download straight from God. Some of these systems, we have formulas, but let me tell you, sometimes formulas will not work. Sometimes it takes the favor of God to be on your life. Okay? Sometimes God gives you instructions, just like he gave Noah, and says, build like this, and build like this, and build like this. That, yes, everyone is giving you a shortcut, but don't take that shortcut. Take the longer route. That is what God told me. Take the longer route. Don't look for the shortcuts. Take the longer route. Yes, it might seem like it's taking longer, but let me tell you, that blessing is going to be a blessing that outlives your generations. That blessing is going to be a blessing that goes to generations and generations, that creates a legacy. And I'm like, yes, God, this is exactly what I am going to do. So you are a wonderful person, okay? You are created for wonders. On this earth, there's so many things that are not working the way they should work because you have not yet showed up. So show up. Show up like the blessing that you are. The blessing is on you. It is not on a place. It is not on a village. It is not on a country. The blessing is on you. So walk like the blessed of the Lord, and do not identify yourself with the past. For those of you that would love to sign up for mentorship, come to my inbox. WhatsApp me on 0757 117 117, 0757 117 117. Let's talk. If you have a desire to become a life coach, to become a public speaker, to earn from public speaking, if you have a desire to build a brand, okay, an irresistible brand that people will yearn for, that people will come to you for the solutions that you have to give, and then you have a desire to grow your business, come to my inbox. Let's talk. Let's go through the training. Let's open up doors. Let's open up, you know, the blessings that God has put in front of you, and let's put them to full utilization. Otherwise, from me to you is I love you.